there, welcome to my channel. So on this video, because I know I do a lot of story time, let me tell you what went down. So I'm not going to give, I'm not going to say any names or anything, because I'm not here to get anyone in trouble or business in trouble or anything like that. But I need a vent, and I found an outlet to vent. So there's a Mexican restaurant in my town. I've been here for over 5 years. I've given them really good business. Matter of fact, I used to go there all the time before they got into a nice, big, expensive building. It used to be literally a hole-in-the-wall place. And so I've given them business, very good business. Then they changed and they went to a really nice restaurant. The last 2 times I dined in, and they pretty much ignored me. Like, as in, they took forever to take my order, and then they never came back to see if I wanted a refill on anything. But we're talking about this time. So I go into the restaurant, and they're busy. They're always busy. Their food tastes really good, and they're always busy, but their customer service has always been pretty much lacking. And right away I go to the front. No one's even there to take my order or anything. And I say, just for one. And she looks around and she's like, can you wait? So she tells me to have a seat. She didn't tell me to, she goes, wait, have a seat. It's going to be a moment. I was like, okay. She didn't say for me to seat myself. And I've been in this restaurant before. You don't, unless they're like super dead. Like if they're super dead, like at 3 o'clock in the day, she'll just say, the person will say, just have a seat wherever you want to sit. But she didn't say that. She was like, we don't have a table yet. So you just have to wait. So I'm waiting and 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 waiting. And people are coming in. And as soon as they come in, they're being greeted. Like, I wasn't greeted. But people are coming in and they're you know what I'm saying? Like, I went to there's like a podium. And I went there and there was no one there. And then when I conversed with her, she was like, yeah, we don't have a seat, sit down. I'll get you one, or wait, or whatever. So I'm patiently waiting. The same girl is greeting people after I'm sitting down. People are walking in, and she's setting them like they're getting a table. So I finally went up to her. I said, excuse me. I said, I've been waiting for a while. I said, people are coming in after me, and they already have a table. I said, I would like a table, please. And she's like, oh, well, yeah, you want to sit at the bar? I'm like, no, I don't want to sit at the bar. Because for one, I have a bad back, and I need back support. But I shouldn't have to say that. I don't want to sit at the bar. Then she says, well, you want to sit outside? I'm like, it's hot. I live in Texas. It's over 100 degrees outside. I don't want to sit outside. And plus, the last time I sat outside, mosquitoes, ate me up out there. I don't know why, but they have a really bad mosquito problem. And the last time, I went there with someone that I know a while back, and it was the same thing. Like, we had to leave because of mosquitoes. So I'm waiting, and something told me, you better not sit down. Because if you sit down, they're going to continue to seat people, and you're just going to sit there like an idiot. So I look around. I said, what about, she goes, well, this table's fixing to be cleaned off. There's a table right next to it that's completely clean. I was like, what about that table? And it was actually number 12. I said, what about that table? And she goes, yeah, we're cleaning. I said, no, not the big table, because it's just me. Why would you put me on a big table? You know what I'm saying? I was like, that table. She goes, oh, okay. Yeah, you can just go ahead and sit there. She didn't take me to the table. But I heard her say, you can go ahead and sit there. So I sat down. The other waitress, nobody comes to give me my chips and salsa or ask me for my drink. Nothing. So I'm sitting there on the table. And the people that came in after me is already getting their chips and salsa. And the other waitresses, her and the other waitresses are taking their orders. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they didn't know that they came in after me. I see more people coming in, and they're sitting down. And right away, they give them the chips and the salsa. Okay? Now, do they always give chips and salsa right away? I'm not going to lie. No. Sometimes they say, do you want something to drink? And you'll be like, just give me a Pepsi. And they'll go get the Pepsi, bring you your chips and salsa, and then say, what would you like to order? Or they'll just bring you chips and salsa and say, can I get your drink? But it's one or the other. So, sit you down with chips and salsa. What would you like to drink? Or sit you down, ask what you would like to drink, come back with the drinks, the chips and salsas, and then take your order. Not that hard to understand between the two. No one's taken my drink order. No one's taken my food order. No one's given my chips and salsa. People are coming in. They're being set down. They're giving their chips and salsa. They're giving their drinks. They're already ordering. And I got tired of this. So finally, the girl comes walking my way, and she's not looking at me. She's looking at the customer behind me. And I'm like waving to her. And so finally, she kind of like notices me, but she doesn't. And then she just goes behind me. And I'm thinking, what the hell? Are they ignoring me? So, finally, another girl, or no, the girl behind me, I said, ma'am, I remember that. I said, the girl behind me, because she notices me, but she didn't say anything to me. She converses with the customers behind me. And after she was in, I was like, ma'am. And she's like, what? I was like, ma'am, I've been here for a while now. I said, no one's taking my order. No one's giving me any drinks. No one's asking me my drink. I was like, there's no chips and salsa. I was like, I'm just sitting here and sitting here. Like, I've been there for like over an hour. So, she says, what does she say? I can't remember what she said. Oh, she said, we'll get you some chips and salsa. So, just give us a moment. I was like, okay. So finally, I'm waiting. She doesn't do nothing for me. Then another girl comes up to me, and I was like, ma'am. She goes, I remember you from last time. She said, you had a quesadilla. I said, oh, great. She named the quesadilla. I was like, thank God, she remembers me. I was like, ma'am, I'm not trying to be rude. I said, I've been waiting here for a long time. I said, you're sweet, because she's not being rude. I said, ma'am, I've been waiting here for so long. I said, nobody has asked me what I want to drink. Haven't given my chips and salsa. I was like, people are coming in, or the one family was like already like leaving the tip and leaving. And they came in after me. And I haven't even, so she goes, anything else? I said, also give me a taco. And then I said, on the chips and salsa, make sure you give me the green sauce, because they have a really good green sauce, right? And she goes, yeah, no problem. And then she just walks off. And I'm waiting. More people are coming in. They're getting their chips and salsa. And my stomach, like, it's getting to the point where, like, I'm still hungry, but I'm getting to, like, where my point is, like, when you get so hungry that you don't even want to eat anymore, but, like, you're still hungry, but you don't want to eat anymore either? Like, it was that long. By then, a lot of people that came in after me had already left, and new people are coming to replace them. Just to give an example, the guy that sat next to me on his own table, which was on that big table, he got, as soon as they set him down, they gave him the chips and salsa, and they said, and what would you like to drink? Because I was right there. And so, I don't know what he ordered, but, they brought him the drink, the chips and salsa, and then I saw them, like, do this, like, take the food order. And I'm like, so anyway. So I'm waiting, and, like, my food's not coming, my chips and salsa's not coming. They never even asked me what I wanted to drink. So, I was like, screw this shit. So I finally told another waitress that was behind me, conversing with that customer, because now a new customer walked in. People are coming and going. I was there probably at least 2 hours, probably more. I never ate. So I told her, like, ma'am, I was like, can I talk to an owner or manager or somebody? She's like, yeah, she's over there. And I'm like, over where? And then I look, she's gone. The waitress is gone. I'm like, over where? So I'm like, you know what? Screw this shit. So I go up to the front, and nobody is nothing. And then the girl's like, you ready to pay now? I'm like, I haven't even gotten my food. What am I supposed to pay for? I never got my chips and salsa. So the girl that works there, she knows me and I know her, not personally, but I've been giving this business my money for over 5 years. I get a lot of times food to go. Majority, with COVID and stuff, I got it to go. So, She's like, you ready to check out? I said, no. I said, I haven't got my chips and salsa or nothing. So let me think for a minute, because I have a really bad headache, and I want to tell you exactly what happened. So I told her, I said, ma'am, I said, I've waited a long time. I was like, nobody set me down. She goes, you have to seat yourself. Every time I said something, she counteracted it. You don't do that in a business. You don't do that in a business. I know, because I used to work customer service. I also used to work the food industry. And I didn't treat customers like this. So I said, ma'am, I said, I waited a long time. I said, people came in and going. I said, they're getting the chips and salsa. They're getting the food. I said, I sit there and wait. She goes, well, you're supposed to seat yourself. I was like, that's not what the girl told me. She said, have a seat right here. That's exactly what she told me. She goes, well, you're supposed to sit yourself. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I was like, my food, I haven't got my food yet. And then she goes, well, you didn't order. I'm like, yeah, I did order. I said, you're supposed to bring out chips and salsa, get the drink, either right away or whatever. I'm telling her the same thing I'm telling you. Which normal Mexican restaurants are like that, right? They sit you down right away with chips and salsa. Or they say, what would you like to drink? You say Pepsi, Coke, whatever. Then they bring out the drinks and chips and salsa and say, okay, what would you like to order? They don't bring you the chips and salsa after you eat. It's not a dessert. So I said, ma'am, I was like, I did order. She goes, no, you didn't. You haven't even ordered yet. She goes, and you're supposed to sit yourself. She goes, and we're busy. I'm like, I don't care if you're busy or not. I mean, does it matter if you're busy or dead? Is it not first come, first serve? I mean, why should why should I sit there and watch people come in after me, eat and go, and I'm still sitting there looking at an empty table and haven't even got to order yet? And then finally got to order. And waited forever and never got my food. Or my chips and salsa. And the girl that took my order, I said, make sure you give me chips and salsa, and I went the green sauce. And she said, okay, fine. And she's like, people are coming in and she's handing out chips and salsa, and I'm like, has she forgotten about me again? Could I wave her down and say, hey, I don't want to be rude. I shouldn't have to do that. I've already said my point. I've already told her. So she says, you didn't order. I said, ma'am, that's not true. She goes, well, I'm busy. I said, well, that's not true. I said, I did order. She said, you didn't order yet. So the waitress that took my order, she's in the kitchen, and she looks like she don't have nothing to do with me. Because I'm looking at her, and she's like looking the other way. I'm like, what is going on here? So I waved to her, and she ignores me. And I'm like, excuse me. I wasn't rude. I said, I'm like, excuse me. I wasn't yelling or nothing. Because if I was yelling and making a scene, all the customers was, no customer stared at me. So obviously I wasn't. Because if I wasn't, you think the customers would look at me. But I'm waving her neck. I said, ma'am, didn't I already order? She goes, yeah, you ordered what you always. She goes, no, she goes, yeah, yeah, you ordered what you ordered, or she goes, yeah, you ordered already. And then something about like what you got last time or the usual, or something like that. But she didn't say what I ordered, which is a quesadilla and a taco. I just normally order a quesadilla, but this time I want a taco and a quesadilla. I was like, well, she just said she goes, you didn't order. I'm like, your waitress just told you I ordered. Like, seriously? She just said it. She goes, yeah, well, we're busy. I'm like, I understand that. I said, but ma'am, when is the chips and salsa coming? She goes, we don't give out chips and salsa unless you order a meal. Are they psychic? Do they know when you sit down, what are you going to order? Yeah, we'll bring these people the chips and salsa because we know they're going to order a meal. How the hell you know that? The guy that's sitting next to me, he's by himself. And who's to say he could, I don't know what the hell he's going to order. And it's not like I haven't given him good business. I've given him 5 years of my business. 5 years. To go orders, whatever. It's probably equaled up at least, I'm sure, at least close to $1,000 in 5 years, at least. So, I was like, what do you mean I have to order? She goes, you have to order like a big meal. I'm like, well, ma'am, I was like, you get the chips and salsa first. I was like, that family over there got their chips and salsa and they haven't even ordered yet. That family, she goes, well, they're families. Families order big meals. So a family orders big meals, individuals don't, and they don't get chips and salsa. The guy that sat right next to me on that big table that they cleaned off, as soon as he sat down, they handed him chips and salsa and be like, and your drink? And he ordered whatever drink. They brought him the drink, and then they got their pen and started taking his order. He didn't even tell them. He could have ordered an enchilada or something. You know? And I'm like, ma'am, I was like, when did you make this new rule? She goes, it's always been that way. I'm like, I don't think so, because a quesadilla is not a full meal. You can order a quesadilla meal, and you can order a quesadilla. If you order the quesadilla, it doesn't come with beans and rice. So how many times have I went there and ordered a quesadilla and didn't order the big plate or the big, whatever that's supposed to mean? And, you know, unless I'm adding it up wrong, a quesadilla plus a taco, I think, is plenty of money to give me some free chips and salsa. The last 2 times I was there, I didn't even ask for a refill because no one came back to my table. They literally gave me my food and never came back to, you know, whatever. So, I just couldn't believe it. So she goes, I'm busy. So I asked the lady at the podium, I was like, excuse me, I was like, do you only order give chips and salsa when you order a big meal? She was like, no, you can just, we give the salsa and chips right away. Hello? The lady said it's always been that way. No, it hasn't. I've been going there for over 5 years. Her waitress told her that I already ordered and basically called her out to be a liar. I mean, all these people are saying, you know, she's in the wrong here. Because every time I say something that's the truth, she makes up some excuse that's not even the truth. Like, just make shit up. Like, the fact that I didn't order, or the fact that I'm supposed to seat myself after being told to wait. The fact that you have to order a big meal to get chips and salsa when you're supposed to get it right away. And everybody else is getting it. So I also at the podium, I said, where's the owner? I said, oh, he's in the back helping. The owner's in the back helping. So the lady that I talked to, the one I told you about that's just making shit up, I was like, okay, so where's the owner? Oh, he's not here. With a big, like, smirk on her face. I said, well, what's his name? She goes, I'm not giving you that information. And, and then she said again, she goes, you something about I still haven't ordered or something. I'm like, I did already order. And at that juncture, I saw my waitress with the quesadilla, and she kind of like looked at me like and put the plate up like that, like it was ready. And I look over at my table, and there's no chips and salsa. There's not even a damn water. I'm thinking, you want me to sit back down after 2 fucking hours to eat a nice, good meal and still not fucking get my chips and salsa? And people that have came in after me have already left? I mean, how many fucking times have the beg literally played someone for fucking chips and salsa? So I fucking left. I left. I don't know what happened to food, and I fucking don't care. The sad thing about it is, well, there's a lot of sad things about it. The food is absolutely amazing. That's another reason why I'm not going to say the name of the food. The restaurant. The food is amazing. And it's a pretty good price. Everything's went up, but that's fine. Whatever. Everything's went up. It's not like only they went up. Everything's went up, right? But, like, you know, you don't argue with the customer. If a customer tells you, I haven't ordered yet. Yes, no, I say, when a customer says, I've already ordered. No, you haven't. Yeah, I have. No, you haven't. You don't do that shit. You said, well, if it was me, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. You know, so you did already order. Let me go ahead and see what's taking so long. Let me get you that chips and salsa. Or let me get my waitress, because I'm busy right now. Maybe she's busy. And be like, so-and-so, could you please, you know, give this gentleman some chips and salsa? I do apologize. No. Instead, she just, everything I say, it's... So that's... I done said my 2 cents. And I know it's like, well, why are you getting so upset? Because I've given this business like good money. I've given him my money. Like, why would you treat me like this? You know? You make mistakes. That's perfectly fine. You could then just admit that you made a mistake and say, "Sir, I'm sorry. We'll get." No, instead you want to. No. You're supposed to seat yourself. You didn't order your food. You don't get chips and salsa unless you order a big meal. Well, because families. What the fuck? Since when did you go to a Mexican restaurant and because you're not with a big family, you don't get chips and salsa? I'm not asking for industrial sized chips and salsa. I never fucking got a water. And my food is about ready to be. By then, finally, because she put her, remember I told you the waitress behind her, she puts the quesadilla up, like, in other words, like, like, hey, your food's ready. And I mean, if I would have had chips and salsa over there, I probably would have sat down and I would have paid. But I looked over there, I'm like, fuck this shit. My fucking table still don't got no fucking chips and salsa. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't get chips and salsa after my food. Nor should I have to wait an ungodly amount of time and see people coming in and out of the fucking restaurant and I'm just sitting there with a fucking empty table. That's my spiel. Whatever. Until next time, I hope you have a better day than me. Bye-bye.